Hey, everybody. Welcome to this early broadcast for a Wednesday evening. We've got a Heritage Auction preview. Of course, the November signature auction starts tomorrow. So we've got a lot of ground to cover with less than 24 hours for that, the most current signature auction to get started. So I'm going to bring Joe Mannarino in, and we're just going to dive right into it. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Bill. How are you?
I look pretty good. You know, you literally look like you just came in from splitting all those logs.
Yeah, we decided to try a different room. Maybe the acoustics will be a little bit better here.
Well, we'll see if we get thumbs up from everybody in the chat, but I have to believe it. It is a little bit better. Maybe that other room with the high ceilings and everything was part of our the audio problems we've had in the past.
No problem. Yeah, we just flew in from Europe last night, so there's a little bit of jet lag here as well, but we'll get through it.
That's true. How long were you in Europe?
30 days.
Wow, that's tough. Were you working though?
I was most of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Well, we work every day. I mean, but doing it
But setting up the net, doing any work for the next international auction. I mean, did you meet?
I met with. We were with Olivier. We met with clients. I was in England. I was in Scotland. I was in Paris. So, no, it was a great trip.
Good. Yeah, I would like to get back to Europe sometime in the next few years. It's been a while for me. So we have a lot to go over. Obviously, like I mentioned, the signature auction bidding, actually starts ending tomorrow. You've got the major event, of course, always is tomorrow live. Everybody's always watching that one, but there's a lot of great comic art lots over the next 4 days total. So I'm glad you got in. You got in just in time so that we could actually get this preview in here. So I've got your list. And I almost got bitten by the Heritage bug again. Remember how I opened up a lot of windows?
Oh yeah.
So I opened up 18 windows, and 4 of them had an alert that it thought I was a bot. So I stopped at 18.
Next time before a broadcast, we got to let IT know, and maybe they can prevent it
somehow. But either way, now I don't think I'm going to forget. But what'll happen is when we get to after we hit 18, I'll be opening them up kind of one at a time into the same thing. So it might be a little slower, but we'll be able to get by. Okay. So let's see here. I can hop right over to the first piece in your set, which was, of course, the Miller. That is an incredible image. Of course, it's a cover to Comics Interview. But right era, right art, right creator.
Yeah, I think this one, I thought, and Todd thought that it would go for about $75,000. Well, I mean, we're going to blow way past that. Usually, I mean, it wasn't part of the run, so normally they don't sell as much as they do if it is part of the run. However, this is such an engaging image, and it comes, I mean, this cover came out February of '86, and the Dark Knight Returns didn't come out till July. So technically, this is one of the earliest images of the characters by Miller in the in the run. So for those that saw 2 pages that sold last time for well over $500,000, it's an opportunity, I guess. And I mean, I wouldn't mind having it. It would look fabulous on the wall. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, with the buyer's premium right now of another 14 or so, yeah, you're at 71, 72 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question it's going to break 6 figures. Just by how much is the question.
Exactly. And what time tomorrow? I always forget. Do they start?
I don't know. Usually 1 o'clock.
That's what I was thinking. 1 Central.
I should have checked, right? But yeah.
Maybe if I close this window, we'll see. It says live auction, 17 hours, so 18 hours from now. So yeah, you're right. 1 Eastern. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were right. Okay.
and we just sent out an email, a global email like that went out 15 minutes ago to everybody. So, so you should get a decent audience as well.
Exactly. No, we should get a good turn. I mean, it's early for everybody, but hey, I'm happy to be doing this in front of any audience that we can get. So then we have this Frazetta Tarzan image. This one's
yeah. This auction has several themes. One of them is definitely Frazetta. I mean, there are some great Frazetta pieces from all different eras, and pen and ink, pencils, prelims. They're just a wonderful array, and this is a classic. I mean, those that appreciate Frazetta really love the Canaveral period. 1962. He was at his peak with pen, especially pen and ink, and he was using the feathering techniques, and his anatomy was just spot on. I'm in the middle of writing an article on Frazetta, and one of the things that it focuses on is this period, and what Frank was always trying to do when it came to shapes and forms, and trying to make something that was a memorable image. It's not really all about the characters and how they look. You notice they're not even looking at you in many of his classic images, but they're so memorable. But he has this way of making people really look like they're in action. The gait, the pose is just so classic. I mean, is there any doubt that girl is just stunning without even seeing your face? I mean,
yeah,
it just is.
Got me there.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah. I mean, this is gonna do well. Period. It was also, this plate was on page 120 of of the book, and used in the very first Frazetta portfolio, which is how highly Frank thought of it. And that was 1968.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. What artwork is behind you on that stack of logs?
That's Infantino, the pinup page from Flash Annual #1. That has all the Flash villains from the first year.
Nice.
I mean, Gorilla Grodd, Captain. I mean, they're all there. It was the only oversized piece that Carmine kept for himself.
That's curious. Okay.
Yeah.
He really liked that one.
He did. Oh, that and How I Draw the Flash. That's the only other thing he kept, that because he got to sign his name on it. I actually own that one too. There was a double page spread of How I Draw the Flash that he did, and it shows in sequence, the breakdown to the finished drawing, totally done. And it was a double page splash, and it's by Carmine Infantino, and he never signed his name on anything prior to that. So that was cool.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Awesome. Knights of Old mentions that it's a emergency fire starter, but we know it's not. Oh man. All right. So next up we have a Tales of Suspense 39 page. We've had a page in, I think, every signature auction for the last 4 or 5 signature auctions. So this one's page 10 from that.
This one is one that has it's a really good one, with Iron Man in costume revealing himself to the villain, Wong Chu. Obviously one of the key pages in Marvel history, first appearance, never been on the market before. We've talked about these before, and designed by Jack Kirby and penciled by Don Heck, and there you have it.
Yeah, that's at 82.5 now, so almost at 100 already with the buyer's premium.
Yeah, I think my thinking is 200K plus on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think?
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's it's got a little ways to go to get there, but this is a pretty desirable page.
Oh yeah.
I can't see how it doesn't at least double. So we'll see. We'll know tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we got a Watterson here.
Yeah. I mean, this one's, this is great because of the provenance. This is from the estate of Watterson's editor, and this came from the family. So, this, as you see at the end of the cataloging, it'll say, masterpieces by Bill Watterson from the estate of Lee Salem. So this is a nice 11.5 by 8 specialty piece done just for him. Impeccable provenance, great signature, and it's a great gag. One panel gag. Once again, they're between Calvin and Hobbes and Peanuts and maybe The Far Side. There's nothing that's been more popular as far as from that genre in the last 50 years, certainly.
So this was a like a gift, or was it a published piece?
Yeah. No, I think this was a gift.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
And where are we at there? 37. Yeah. Well, given where the Calvin and Hobbes published pieces have gone, in the last couple of years, this has a lot of room to move tomorrow. So this is in tomorrow's set, right? I imagine. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Well, it's hard to say. It says live auction tomorrow. So, we'll see. Maybe I'll have to double check.
Well, if it is, I mean, at the beginning, so I probably, I think I listed these. Yeah, I tried different things. Sometimes I do from the most popular bid track because that's an indication of what people like. And I'm thinking maybe I should cover things that people like as opposed to just the highest priced item, as opposed to, a sequential order, which sometimes doesn't mean anything because, as you know, when it comes to bidding, by the way, that's probably the most asked question I get is how do you explain the bidding? How come one doesn't run away and the other is, comes in late and the only explanation I have is that there are different strategies. Some people like to bid early, bid high, and for a couple of different reasons. Some people like to know if they've got a shot at getting it. If there's a max bid in that's above your what you're thinking of spending, then you'll know about it if you bid. So that way, if you can focus on something else, you're not going to get it if it's already higher than you thought. Other people like to bid high because they like to chase people off of it, which, as I just described, kind of works. And then, but then there's the whole other school of why tip your hand if the item is low. Hey, it might fall through the cracks, and I'm going to be there to swoop it up. So why would I put bids in early? And that's the explanation. So on any given piece, you might see a really, modest bid at this point in the sale, and it'll go live 10 times the amount, and then at other times there's one bid.
Right. No, well, the psychology behind bidding is there's so many different approaches for it, but either one, all of those make sense. To try to snipe something because it's already, it's still at a low point and you want to wait and see. Or I would agree. I think the more savvy bidders who are looking at multiple lots on a signature auction like this one, it makes a lot of sense, at least on the key pieces where they could be spending a lot of money, to throw in a higher bid just to see if they should just focus elsewhere. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see here. So we have this Daredevil page.
Well, once again, Daredevil 190. We've had probably 2-3 of them come up in recent months, and they've done one better than the other. I had to include it because he's so hot. I mean, anything Miller is blistering hot right now. The market is not affected at all, and this is a great page. I mean, the format, the action, it's the Elektra resurrection. There's Daredevil trying to revive her, and meanwhile, as we know later, they're trying to kill her for good. So it's a great issue. Yep, I think I agree. It's an awesome page.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I regret not buying many Miller Daredevil pages when I had the chance in 2000. So when they were still around 2,500 or 2,800, 3,000.
Yeah.
When when you thought, oh, I can get one of these anytime.
Yeah.
Not anymore,
No.
unfortunately. Yeah, but no, this is a nice late run piece from Jansen and Miller for sure. I love it.
Yeah, very popular. This is like, to a lot of people, this is prime period. They love this, and I think the Netflix series just reinforced it. What am I going to say?
Yeah,
can't add much more than that.
Nope. So then we have a McFarlane Spider-Man 11 splash from 91.
Yeah, this is a very inventive panel layout. I mean, he creates that panel on the left that almost looks like a window, and but it's actually a separate panel that's part of the story, and then you have this full page Spidey. So it's just a very nice image. I mean, it's Spidey 11, 1991. One we've spoken about it many times, that the image artists, especially the work they did just prior to leaving Marvel, is super hot, and they remain super hot.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's the thin panel like that is McFarlane's style. Typically he would do like 4-panel layouts just with those long narrow panels. So this is kind of fun throwing that into a splash page.
Yeah.
Very nice. And who? Rick Magyar was the inker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who did a good job. It's a very nice, stark. Yeah. This doesn't have the spaghetti webbing, which I think his style is more suited to very much this black and white. I like the webbing under Spidey's arm if you move up a little bit, and look at that. Yeah. He's got a really nice contrast, nice style.
No, I agree. Magyar's really good on this. So nice. This one's a 26 so far. Then we got a John Romita Jr.
There's another. You're talking about picking up things when they were affordable. I mean, what has happened to Romita Jr.? I mean, all of a sudden, everything Romita Jr. is off the charts. He is another guy, blistering hot. So I mean, I had to put him in. I mean, what is this at already?
It's at 36 right now.
36 already on a cover where, I mean, is it Wolverine? Is it not Wolverine? But it's standing over Katie Pryde's body, or is one of them Mystique? The whole bit. But still, it's pretty amazing that he's hot. Period.
Yeah, Romita. I like Romita Jr.'s work. He's not in my top 5 X-Men artists. He came in right after Paul Smith, so I've always was like, doggone it, I wanted more Paul Smith, But I've warmed up to it over the years.
But we've talked about it. You're a little misguided.
I have been told that more than once.
And every time we do this, I enjoy saying,
I know, I don't mind it. But yeah, no, this is a classic cover though. At the end of the day, I mean, just it's a great image, and it's going to do pretty well.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next one here is a famous What If issue 11.
Yeah, I guess this is a controversial. I didn't realize it was controversial until I, some people brought it to my attention that some people, they think this is not a very good Kirby cover. I mean, I don't know if it's about. I think this is supposed to be about the characters in it. I mean, that's Stan Lee is Mr. Fantastic, and Jack Kirby is the Thing, and Flo Steinberg, etc. So you got the Marvel bullpen, you got Marvel history, you've got a glimpse into Marvel, and at the time, their most, their premier title. So, was that Brodsky is the, yes, I think it was Brodsky was the Human Torch. So, I mean, I love this cover. It's by Jack Kirby.
Mm-hmm. What if Reed Richards had a mustache? That's Samuel Ross. Yeah, that's. But no, I mean, come on, it's fun. It's got Kirby and Lee on the cover, and controversy aside about their, their creative inputs into the characters that we all love. I mean, this is fun. You're not going to get this any other way.
Yeah. Yeah, great coverage. Yeah, they don't turn up.
No. And What If is a very popular title these days. I mean, interior pages, covers. I think a lot of people look back on those stories pretty fondly.
Yeah, I remember when Albert started buying. We used to have them, and I think even back to Christie's days, and Albert loved them, and I'd always tease him, and it turns out he's right. Eventually, I mean, listen, even a clock,
everybody's going to be right once every.
Even the broken clock is right twice a day. So
but if Albert's watching, that'll go to his head. Don't try to do that. And he's not watching. I'm sure he's enjoying his retirement somewhere. But speaking of Albert, here we have a Jim Lee Batman piece. This is a splash from 608. So
that's the second theme of this auction. If I had to put one, actually, it's theme number one, which is we got a significant number of pieces directly from Jim Lee from his collection.
Oh wow! Okay, I didn't know that.
And this is one of them. Oh yeah. If you look at the take a look at the listing, doesn't it say from the Jim Lee collection? Or he never allowed us to put his name on anything before. So this is another first. So now you've got impeccable provenance, and these are pieces that he kept for himself. I think I've said it before. I always feel that there is some real Jim Lee signature poses. He's got the torso, thrust forward. He loves to design a piece with like the upper torso, the waist and the hips almost, running as, jointed, and then he's got, when that character is leaning forward, that's it. That's the go-to pose. So you've got Batman here, but as we go in, I only picked a couple, but we've got things from Justice League 1, and we've got things from Wonder Woman or whatever else. He gave us a really nice sampling of items. Yeah, was that Death Blow 1?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. No, I looked through the catalog, but I guess I didn't read the descriptions close enough to see that they were from Jim. But
that's why you needed to tune in.
That's right. That's why we're doing this. I tell everybody whenever I do one of these shows with you, I always learn one or two things that I'd never heard of, and this is now one of them that Jim Lee contributed artwork and is letting everybody know about it.
Hey, Dino, how are you?
So we have a classic image here. I actually posted
infamous, some might say.
Yes. I actually posted a photograph of me on Facebook today dressed as Cap, where I put like a couple extra pillows in there, and I had a muscle suit on underneath it, and I still could not, even with like two pillows and the muscle suit, could not come close to making my chest go out that far.
Oh, you think that's what people focus on is the chest? That didn't occur to me. I thought it was I thought it was the size of the shield.
Yeah, exactly. But there was that picture of Rob at San Diego with this artwork behind him where he was trying to stick his chest out. I thought, Rob's great in that he can look back on it and still kind of poke a little bit of fun at himself through it. But I mean, again, at the end of the day, to own this piece is bragging rights, I think, for any collector or fan of comics from that era. So yeah.
Well, here was the thing when we got this in. I don't know why I was going back and forth about something with Rob, and then I said, "Wow, do I bring this to his attention? Do I not? Do I?" So I decide I'm going to send it to him, and he says, "I love it. I love it. Great. I wish you the best of luck with it. I think it'll do fine." And so he's very aware, and there's no apologies by any means. And you know what? Any publicity is good publicity.
Exactly. Here, I was going to throw this in there just to give you a laugh. There you go. See, two pillows and a muscle suit, and I still am not anywhere near where Rob was at on that.
That's a great one, Bill. Yeah,
I tried. Yeah, but the shield needs to be about half the size too. So, but yeah, looking, somebody posted that one right there. So even Rob tried. He can't do it either. Yeah. So that's great. But yeah, no, that's a good one. Where was that at? 19,000. Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be curious to see where that finishes. What do you think?
Gosh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'll say 40, 45. Yeah. I don't know. I think it could go there just because. I mean, this is one of those images that's been printed more times than if you had to rank it, this one's been seen more than anything, right? It's a subject of memes, of so many anatomy drawings by other artists that have gone after it. I think that like Dino just said, it's a conversation piece. I mean, to have this one in your collection, you'll always have something to pull out at the next art collector meetup and show them this piece, and you will have something to laugh and talk about for 10 or 15 minutes, guaranteed.
What's the lot number? 93069?
Let me see here. Where the heck is it? I thought it was always at the bottom, but I guess I'm missing it. Let's see. I do see it up here. 93069 is up in the URL. Yeah.
So I told you that sometimes we,
right here,
the 3 or 4 guys that handle comic art will make a list and we'll put in our bids, and the range is 40,000 to 75,000. So that's the range. Oh, wait a minute, Olivier, he just sent in his bids. He's at 60 to 80.
That's where he's at, huh? Well, I mean, again, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm being more conservative in my mid 40s.
Yeah, we normally are never that far apart on anything, but this one is that's going to
find out soon enough.
Question. Yeah. Oh, here's one. Here's one for you. I know it's cockrum. I know it pains you, but go ahead. Why don't you give us your description of this?
No. This is one of my favorite all-time X-Men books. 102. I love the cover on this one. I mean, I mean, again, straight up one of my favorite all-time issues of the Uncanny X-Men, and early Dave Cockrum work is always going to be, I prefer this era. Even with John Byrne work, I prefer his earlier stuff pre-120. So no, this is easily my favorite issue of X-Men, hands down, just because it was a juggernaut, in an early in the run. And I just, Black Tom was great in this. The covers were fantastic, and you learn a lot about the characters in these you know, in this issue in particular. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
where will this end up? I have no idea, but it deserves to be, you know, it deserves to be six figures in my opinion, because it's just that great.
Yeah. I mean, listen, from a guy who read the X-Men from issue 1, you know, to me, Magneto was, while a good villain, the best early villain. The book that I found most engaging was the Juggernaut. You know, it was a 2-part thing. It was, you know, the build up to it and everything else, the name, everything about it was great. So, you know, I loved the Juggernaut, and I think this cover, you know, Cockrum, you know, really, you know, some great action. He filled the whole page. Yeah, it's really a good cover. You know, really some drama there. Yeah, I agree with you. This is going to do well. What item number is this?
Let's see. This is 91003.
What are you thinking?
I'd like it to hit 100.
Yeah, I got 100. Yeah. The range is 80 to 110. So yeah, we're right there with you.
Good. Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you know, I love issue 12 too. I mean, again, there's Juggernaut was such a great character. I think when you think of the villains, so, like you said, Magneto's a good villain, but Juggernaut he's just a brute. And when Juggernaut crosses over into other comics, I mean, he's just he can hold his own against pretty much any other any characters out there in the Marvel universe. And I don't know, you know, I always think back to, you know, Magneto was never like the same kind of villain if he was fighting Thor or something. You know, it just wasn't the same kind of scenarios and storylines that were really great. But Juggernaut is just a great villain.
No, I agree with you. I mean, Magneto became a better villain when he became, you know, a counter. Yeah, it was, you know, being a more sympathetic character than he was in the beginning, where the Juggernaut was, the whole thing with him being his brother and the build up to it. It was probably the longest origin story that Marvel ever had. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. No, the Granger's inks on this thing are fantastic too. Actually add a lot to it, I think.
Yeah. But, no, it's a good page.
So now we've got what do we got? A Flash Gordon and a Jungle Jim Sunday. Let's see.
Yeah. Now this one's interesting. We've got in the sale from, I think I mentioned that I have a relationship with the Raymond family, and then we've gotten items directly from the Alex Raymond family. Never been on the market before, you know, excellent examples. We talked about the 1939 that sold in the last sale. It ended up selling for over $300,000, which was mind-blowing. Now this page, and that's 1939, which is not considered the prime period. I always say, you know, a lot of people always said that the prime period of Flash Gordon is 1935, 36, and it kind of, they end it there, when in reality it's 35, 36, and 1939. The pages are large. And one of the reasons that the 39s are so great is that Lucas took actual images right out of that. You know, Princess Leia, the hairdo, the costume, all of that was so it touched on that. Now, this is an absolutely prime period, 1935, from Al Williamson's collection. So this comes from the family, never been on the market. This hung on Al's wall whenever, you know, I went up and used to see him, and it's now coming to the market for the first time. So, you know, Flash, I think, is in every panel. It's got Princess Azura, action, you know, prime period. It's got everything going for it. Beautiful woman, you know, Flash sent the panel, the whole bit. The only thing I should point out that I want to make sure everyone understands, the way Al had this mounted is he had it dry mounted onto a board, and the jungle gym that's on this is not the same jungle gym from the week of the Flash. I think it's off by 2 weeks. So it's, this was a Sunday, so it's only off by 1 or 2. So it's the same period, same style, same everything, but it's not the matching jungle gym, but still just as impressive. We just didn't want to take the time to, have it, removed, which is very easy to do.
Right. Oh, makes sense to keep them together. But yeah, it's a fantastic Flash Gordon. Every panel is beautiful.
Yeah, again, one of the pillars of comic art, in whatever you want to call it. The 5 guys that were the most influential in newspaper strip art, influenced all of the comic book guys, and at the top was Alex Raymond, Hal Foster, and Kniff and McKay, and on and Harriman, and that's why so many people in our field want to own a great Raymond.
I get it. I wish I had one.
Yeah, and these are large and beautiful. Yeah.
So
I had to include the nice Barks painting because the price. Where is it at now already?
52 and a half. So
with the VIG, it's already at $60,000. This, I think, was the only time he did Luck of the North. So this is an early painting, 1973, based on the 1949 issue of 4-Color Comics. It's in the art of Carl Barks, and it's really, really nice, prominent images of the Ducks.
Yeah, it's a great. Do you know what the size of it is? I'm sure it's
in the description.
27 by 23.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's a great painting.
Yeah, that's people they put these up on the wall, and that's where they stay, and it just makes you smile every time you go by it.
That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. We have a nice. We're not going to cover it, but we have a nice published page of Barks as well. Probably like Uncle Scrooge 59 or something like that. So that's also they do not come along very often. So not much published Barks art survived. So that's why the recreations go for so much money.
That makes sense. Now we have a Portasio piece here, a DPS from issue 283 from Uncanny, and it's at 17 right now.
Yeah. Another guy that went on to do. You never mention him when you talk about your X-Men artists.
Well, remember, this is the period where I wasn't reading them off the shelf. I stopped buying comics from 89 until 97 or maybe 96, somewhere around in there. So I missed all that. I missed Jim Lee drawing X-Men. I know. So it's all of that early 90s peak stuff. I didn't know who Bishop was when I came back. When I started reading books, and again in that, X-Men books in 97, I had a lot of I missed the Age of Apocalypse. I mean, you name it. I missed a lot. I had a lot of back issue reading to do.
Yeah. Well, 91 also was it was at a peak when in the comic stores and basically supporting all of the new comic stores that have been opening all across the United States. So, and Portaccio was a worthy successor to the other guys. So, yeah, this is a double page spread, first full appearance of Bishop. Page features Storm, Iceman, Colossus. Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice page.
Yeah, it is. I've got. I do own a Portasio page myself. After I went back and Yeah, I appreciate his work a lot. We had him on the channel. I think I did almost a 3-hour interview with him one night. We could have just talked forever. He was really a joy to chat with, and I definitely learned a lot just from having him on. I've been wanting to get him back on here sometime because again, he's got a lot of stories from an era that I don't know a lot about. Unfortunately, even other than just what I read in Wizard magazine, right? Because he is of that era.
Oh yeah, and he didn't do it for as long as the other guys did.
True.
So, he had some issues, as I recall. Didn't he have some health issues back then?
Yeah,
forced him to back off.
Definitely, but no, this is a classic image that is clearly going to it's already attracted, I'm sure, a lot of interest. I'd be curious to see where it falls in all the people putting it on their tracking lists and whatnot. But
and he was good friends with all the Image guys, and his style influenced a lot of the other guys. He was highly respected among the other guys. So and speaking of which, the next lot, another Jim Lee lot, Jim Lee Scott William X-Men 3-page. Nice page. The final page from the last issue of Claremont's run on the X-Men. So this is a really it's got a nice historic note to it, and I think it was said on. Was it mentioned at the bottom of the page?
Well, it's got the CSC 76 to 91.
Yeah. I think it features every official member of both the blue team and the gold team: Cyclops, Wolverine, Rogue, Psylocke, Gambit, Beast, Storm, Jean, Colossus, Archangel, Iceman, as well as Professor X, Mara, Banshee, and Forge. I mean, wow, that's saying a lot about one page of art.
Yes, well, I mean, if this is from Jim, then it's obviously he knew the importance of this page as well.
Yeah.
So where are we at? 17.5 on that one. Nice.
I think it's going to do better than that.
Well, that's what you always want in an X-Men page. If you can get several characters just hanging out, that's what everybody wants.
And Cyclops knocked out or something, right?
That's where everybody else would prefer him to be. I like him as the true general of the team. But whatever. What am I going to do? Can't have it always. So what do we got here? We have a Al
Williamson, Frazetta, and Roy Krenkel, one of their classic team ups, and it's a complete 6-page story from 1953, Shock Suspense Stories 8. And to add to the magic, it was co-plotted by both Bill Gaines and Al Feldstein at the time. If you look forward, pages 4, 5, and 6 are by Frazetta. And while they tried to keep their style similar, I mean, you could see the delicacy with which Frazetta, is
question.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a great addition to anybody's collection. And if you want an EC story that you can, display and keep, and it's not over the top, horror type of thing, this is it.
Yeah, no, this is great. A great story. Nice. Then we have another Daredevil page here from 187.
Yeah. It's just too hot. Had to include him. I mean, I assume when they're selling it that type of price and that there's that many views and that much interest that, that's what people want to see right now, and that's what people want to hear about. So that's why I put more than one.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you go through the sale, there's some great examples of all along the line of different materials. So
for Miller.
Yep. Yeah, Miller and this whole period. So there's just a lot of good material in this sale. I mean, I encourage everybody to just flip through it. You'll enjoy it.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I would kill for one. Just one Miller Daredevil page these days. So we have another Jim Lee, Scott Williams X-Men page. This is from issue 2.
Yeah. Again, why don't you cover that one? That's a good one.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the kickoff for this run, featured Magneto a lot. So this is I'm sure everybody prefers to see Cyclops in bondage right there, as he is. But remember, Wolverine's even taken out on this one. But again, it's just a great page, and maybe I could start. Well, no, Jim Lee was in my top 5 X-Men. He was artist. He was number 5. So this page makes me think that maybe he could have been number 4. But yeah, well, Scott Williams makes Jim look so fantastic. I always forget about how now looking back on it, because even when I had to go back and reread all this stuff, I was just reading it to kind of get the backstory that I had missed in the 8 or 9 years that I wasn't reading. I really wasn't appreciating it for the work. I was just trying to figure out how in the heck, what happened between, this, beginning of the Romita Jr. over to where they were just seemingly changing artists every, 5 to 8 issues. So I wasn't really appreciating it for the art, but yeah, this page is pretty nice. Where are we at on there? 15 on this one. So yeah, this is a great page.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will. 8 million copies of
right.
X-Men 1, the biggest selling book in history. That's saying a lot.
It is. He was popular. He is popular.
He is. He's one of those guys. A lot of these artists, it's like in sports. They kind of peak at 27 because they're really trying to, they've got the technique at that point. They've got the ability, and then they want to show the world. But then after that, they can't keep it up. It's just too difficult. But Jim Lee, I don't know of any drop off, a period of drop off on Jim Lee. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Also here we have a Avengers 285 cover by John Buscema and Tom Palmer.
Yeah, that great combination of Buscema and Palmer, 1987, really great period, and a really dramatic image. The Wrath of Zeus. Really nice page design there too. I was just watching something. A major collector who loves pages where there's like a full-size image of a face, and he was explaining why that. The detail that has to really go into it in order to do that. And he's right. You have to show almost every hair, every, eyelash. So the amount of detail in there is, and you could see it here. And in addition, you got the Wasp, you got She-Hulk, you got Captain America, Thor, Captain Marvel, the Black Knight, Hercules, Dr. Druid, Namor, and Submariner. So that's a pretty good cover.
It is. Yeah, definitely.
Pretty good cover. Yeah. And yeah.
So now I'm clicking on your spreadsheet now just because I don't want to mess up my I don't want to get blocked from the website. So we have what do we got here? A Sandman 12 story page from Chris Pichello and Malcolm Jones.
Yeah. Now that's the other I would say, the third theme of this auction. I think that we have like 11 or 12 Sandman pages in this sale by various artists. And, of course, the most are the primary guys you would think. But here's one that I don't remember having one, a page from Bachala's run. So I thought I'd feature it. It's a really good page. I mean, boy, Sandman art is hot.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Malcolm Jones inks add a lot to this page from this era of Chris's work. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. It's very, really, really nice. But I didn't. I'll have to check out the other Sandman pieces. I'm sure that you have other themes in there as well. That but here's another Jim Lee piece coming up here.
Yeah, I have. Later we have another Sandman page to talk about by a different artist. So yeah, here's the page that you touched on earlier, the Deathblow one. Yeah, this is an interesting page because here stylistically, this looks like Frank Miller.
It has a bit of a vibe, right? I mean, Deathblow, Tim Sale, tackled the character a bit too. So sure. I mean, I think when you look at it stylistically, you think about the other artists that were working on it. And 92 is right kind of at the beginning there for this. So this is solid, really nice.
Yeah, powerful close up, Michael Cray. Again, it's a character that's now crossed over into the movies and the shows. So it's a great page.
I agree. Let's see here. Next up, we have Frank Brunner, and it's a Doc Strange cover. And obviously, anything by Frank on Doctor Strange has been doing really well.
Boy, we had a collector that basically had most of the run, certainly all of the early covers. And when I was researching this cover, if you go down the list, issue 1 was $200,000 or whatever it hit. Number 2, and it goes right down the ladder. And just amazing, from Frank Brunner. Who would have thought that years ago? I mean, this stuff was all bought for, a few $100.
Right.
A beautiful cover, really nice, dramatic lighting. It's very different in that regard, and you've got Clea and chains. I mean, that's a beautiful cover. Yeah,
it really is. But yeah, I think like you just mentioned, Frank probably sold this for very little. You look at Bob Layton's early work; he sold a lot of his covers for a couple $100 too, or less. I mean, it was just where things were at back at that point in time. But yeah, it's funny because Frank's been around a long time, and he's always been an incredibly solid artist, and so it's cool to see.
Yeah, and I think he's at his best when he's inking his own work, because it's obvious, he's the one that's adding the drama, and it's a matter of he does a great job of always picking out a light source and then really focusing out, and it's the dramatic inking that makes the difference. Somebody said it here, the inking on the bricks, Clea's costume. Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, very nice piece. So that one's at 13.5.
Yeah. And it's issue 5. That's really cheap relative to the ones that have sold.
Okay, now we have another Frazetta here.
That might be cheap because we already sold this once, I believe.
What, this one? Or you mean the prior one?
Yeah, the prior one.
The Doctor Strange, yeah. Well, that's one thing we're starting to see too in the market is some of the pieces that might have been sold 3 or 4 years ago are kind of cycling back in. I know that one, the Spidey McFarlane was one. I can't remember where that was sold prior to that. But you're seeing some pieces kind of come back around, and as long as prices are staying true and firm, I mean that's kind of what you want to see.
Oh, that's exactly. I mean, listen, take it from somebody who's been in the field a long time. Yeah, nothing is better for a dealer or an auction house or anything else that I sold pieces a dozen times because somebody owned it, made money, wanted to sell it back. You sold it for them again. The next person made money, sold it back. A great piece of art is a great piece of art. The people sell for a myriad of reasons, and absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Now this one is speaking of that exact thing. Nadia and I sold this back in the day. I think this came directly from the Frazettas. It might have sold at Christie's, and then we sold it again. And the person that bought it, consigned it now. He said that he would keep it forever. Health issues forced them to put it up. And he sent me an email. I didn't even realize that he had consigned it. So great piece from the Doubleday period. First there was a Canaveral that had the great pen and inks. Then Frank went on to do the Doubleday pieces. These are a little bit more stark in nature, but his design, his approach, absolutely classic. Every one of those is unique. That's the one thing. I was thinking about it today, and I was going to include it in the article. Some people say, well, Frank didn't, and he used to say this to me, people say I didn't do a lot of work, he did 150 paintings. He did, a couple of hundred, but he would think about things all the time. He would think about things. He'd see something. He would comment on, colors, on shapes, on things, but he didn't need to write it all down. He would remember, and whenever he needed, it would be up there, and he'd be able to draw down on it, and he'd be able to design something beautiful.
Well, that's why he's the master. I mean, it's amazing what he. I don't know. At the end of the day, I feel like he was pretty prolific because of his body of work is just incredible. I mean, so many memorable images to people who aren't even, illustration art collectors or fans, know his work. I mean, it's just how it is.
You see, that's the key. So many memorable images, where other artists, like 1 out of every 50 is memorable and the rest are kind of all the same. That's not the way it is with him. He tried to do each thing a little bit different, and that's what made him. His out of 50 pieces, 45 were great. Yeah, right. That was the difference. Yeah.
Well, sorry, let's see here. Oh, we got a Glenn Fabry piece next.
Yeah. How about this Batman piece? Bane.
Yeah, I like Glenn's work a lot.
Yeah. Again, we've got more Preacher covers too. I didn't even include any now, but we've been selling a lot of the Preacher covers, and he's just great. I like it when he does more. Sometimes his images. I wouldn't put it up in my bedroom. I don't know if I'd sleep, but no, these are okay.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that one. No, I mean, there's a little bit of a disturbing quality to the way Glenn paints. I don't know what it is. It's just the way he handles anatomy, or whatnot. I mean, there's just something about it. But that's what's most intriguing about him and his style. Yeah. I think, I think that he's very unique. He has a European kind of feel to his work that you just know it when you see it. He's not a clone really of any other artist of his period, when he was at his peak. So. Yeah, this is very nice.
Yeah. I mean, and that talk about a memorable image. Yeah. Great Batman and Bane and beautiful color, beautiful palette to it. Yeah. Absolutely.
So here's another Mr. Lee and Mr. Williams collaboration, Justice League 12 cover.
Yep. I told you that examples from numerous titles and different eras in Jim's career. Here's another beautiful image, very different than what we've seen before this. And after years of teasing and innuendo, the new 52 brings Superman and Wonder Woman together, passion between the Titans on this shocking cover. Fans were really excited to see this when it came out.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't read it, but I do remember.
New to the market, the whole bit.
Yeah. No, this is great. It's very, very nice.
And beautifully designed. There's the intertwining is echoed several times in the piece. Yeah.
No, Lasso and with his cape. I mean, all that. I mean, it's really well done.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim's, at the end of the day, he is an incredible designer. As his compositions are pretty much flawless. And yeah, this is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Switching a little bit. Different era. Barry Smith Conan cover from 71.
Yeah. We had an early Conan cover in the last sale, but now this one, issue 10. Really nice cover. A lot going on. Man, what is this one? The Bull God, right? And there's Conan in the middle. Of note, the original cover, actually, if you look at the published cover, Conan's a little bit bigger than he is here. What they did is they thought that they wanted Conan to be a little bit more prominent, so they made a stat of him 10% or 20% larger, and then this was what's underneath the stat. So the stat, I think, is also included, but it's in pristine condition.
Got it. So this is the published image. It's just they actually included the stat. Here you go.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe it shows it. No, that's
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then down at the bottom in the banner is Kull the Conqueror, as drawn by Marie Severin. So he left an empty area there, and then Marie.
She was pretty versatile.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're at 14.5 on this one.
Yeah.
Now back to DC. Let's see here.
Yeah, this is a pretty unique cover by Aparo. The Pharaoh. And you've got the Sphinx.
Yeah, this is a really nice cover.
Yeah. Again, beautifully designed. Person up on the top, you have that whole pyramid going on, which for an Egyptian cover is appropriate.
Mm-hmm. And so from 81 too. So where are we at with this one? It's $7,500 so far.
Yeah, I think people are in denial when it comes to this cover.
Oh boy!
I'm sorry.
Grandfather humor right there.
Everyone. Yeah. I know that joke, Sphinx.
Yes, exactly. Yep. You've been reading. Are you friends with Jim Amash on Facebook? Every single day he throws out like another dad joke that is just more ridiculous than the next. He's got.
Now this is from my days of being in salesman.
That's how you break the ice in a conversation. Yeah, I get it. So we got Dringenberg Sandman page here. I think we've had a few Dringenberg Sandman pages, I think, in the last few auctions too. This is a really nice one.
Well, we've had like one or two at the most, and they've done unbelievably well. In the last sale, I don't think we had any In
No.
this sale, I think we have 11.
Oh, really? Wow.
11. That's what I was telling you. I mean, wow, from all different, issues in the run. So that's very unusual.
Well,
yeah, beautiful. I'm
it's going to
very
make
happy.
some Sandman collectors happy.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We got a Kirby Tuska cap. Wow.
Yeah, I had to put in a Jack Kirby. I mean, this is a really powerful image. One of the great things about Kirby, his ability, going back to the pre-superhero Marvel books, his ability to draw size and make it believable. You know what I mean? His characters have weight. They have, uh, they're cemented to the ground, and you just feel the weight and the power. That's why he could do the Hulk so well, and that's why he could do the Thing so well, and that's why he could do any of those kind of creatures. But here again, it's demonstrated in the Fourth Sleeper. Interesting issue there, right?
Yeah, Tuska did a really good job inking it too.
Yeah.
I think he stayed pretty true to Kirby pencils, I imagine, on this one.
Yeah.
It's nice.
George Tuska is an interesting guy. I mean, the guy went all the way back to the beginning of the Golden Age and worked right through the Silver Age, working for Marvel. And, I mean, him and Irv Novick. I mean, Irv Novick did, Shield #1 and, Golden Age things going back to the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. No, this is nice. It's 7,700 right now.
Yeah.
All right. So we got another Todd McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man page from issue 301.
Yeah, you gotta, when you have McFarlane, you gotta focus in on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice page. Nice panel layout, Spidey in each panel. I mean, it doesn't have the most action, but it's a nice page, and it's going to be affordable and still desirable. Looks great on the wall.
You get Silver Sable in it too, so that's nice. It's a bonus. Yeah. No, I love the first panel. I love the heavy, the black background for just so you can focus in on the characters there. I like that. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. So we got 7 on that one. Yeah. It's a Jim Lee kind of auction, right? You got another Hush page.
Yeah. I mean, what am I not going to mention? Again, if you got pages from Hush, you got a cover from Justice League, you got and then we've got more X-Men. So oh, wait a minute. I might later have the same. I might have duplicated a page.
That's okay. I can skip over that one.
Yeah. But again, this is a Hush page. We talked about it when we had several pieces from Hush in the past. I mean, how popular that run was. That went on for a year. People absolutely loved it. We had that, what was it? The back cover that sold for, a huge $400,000.
Yeah.
Just really great art, great story. It really helped define that whole period of time for DC. Jim, not many people are that successful going back and forth between companies. A guy goes from Marvel to Image to DC and home run.
Yeah. No, well, he's the man, and credit Scott Williams for keep sticking with him and embellishing him and making him it just helps keep this work look so consistent over the years. I mean, Jim's inking on himself is pretty nice too, clearly.
Yeah.
But I think just having them be a team is something special.
Yeah, I think the thing with my own opinion is, Jim's pencils are very precise, and Scott's inking is very precise, and he adds every little nuance, and like can almost read into Jim's mind where he was going with it. When Jim does his own inking, all of a sudden the page seems, the line is not as sharp, is not as much shine. So and maybe that was his vision. He doesn't ink with the same precision that he pencils. But that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of great penciler inker combos out there where I'm sure, like, if you were to go back and talk to them today about what they thought about it, like Byrne and Austin, I think that they were a great team together. But, I've read differing thoughts, later on in both their careers about the work that they did together. But, at the end of the day, it's hard to argue it right here, right? I mean, these guys just work so well together that I just don't want to see anybody else seeing Jim.
I never met a penciler who didn't think that they could pencil their own work better than everybody else. John Buscema, Carmine Infantino, John Byrne, Jack Kirby. I mean, I don't remember anybody that.
Yeah.
I will say Jim Steranko always said to me that when he was working, when he started his career, he would argue and he lobbied to get the absolute best inkers because he could see the difference and he knew that they would make his work better. So he pushed to get Sinnott, he pushed to get Frank Giacoia, and so he was the first guy I ever heard, that really said that. But everybody else was like, "Oh, nobody can, ink my work like I can." Yeah.
No, well, I could see
Adams, Neil. I mean, all of them. You name it, they're all like that.
Yeah, Marcus mentioned that Jim pencils different when he knows Scott's going to be inking him, and that makes sense, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they probably have a bit of a shorthand. He can probably save a little bit of time when he knows Scott's doing it versus someone else.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see here. Oh, let's get this over to that window there. So John Romita Jr. X-Men annual page from
cover. Again, Romita Jr.'s hot.
Possible Man, hot.
Yeah, Impossible. Yeah. And you've got, a lot of the characters again. You got Colossus, Storm, Kitty Pryde, Rogue, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Cyclops. And that's And he's being featured in what, the movie, or I forget where.
I've been trying to avoid it. I don't know. Don't tell me. Don't give me any spoilers. I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
I haven't made it out to see the Marvels yet or anything. I told my daughter we're going to go this weekend.
So, on the plane, I watched The Flash.
Yeah? Do you like it? I liked it. I actually thought, I'm not a DC guy, so that, so I don't have a lot to go on, but I actually liked that one. I didn't like Justice League really all that well.
Oh, no, that's my problem with DC lately, especially lately. They try and do too much in every film. I mean, how much more stuff are you going to put into that movie? You had the entire story arc from the TV show, like, all the multiverse and all of the different changes. And then you had the different, I don't want to spoil it. I mean, I'm sure people have seen it by now, but I mean, Batman's galore and Superman's and on, all into one movie. At some point, unless you're, a diehard fan, it's just too much.
Well, they could spread it out a little bit and get a little more mileage out of it, but hey, I don't know. they're probably just thinking they can appeal to a greater audience by cramming more and more into it.
Yeah.
But here we have a Death of Captain Marvel page.
Yes, another. This is a historic book, and a sad page. I remember how the blowback of the death of a major character, and Starlin was able to pull it off. His art was beautiful. At this point, he was just great. He did ink this with markers, so you see the markers. So you're going to have to be careful when you get this piece. But it's a historic book. This is the page that it's confirmed that he's got cancer. So it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I've seen much worse. The state. As far as his markers fading.
Yeah,
so this is pretty good in comparison to a lot of other pages from this book. But you do have to take great care in keeping these things out of the sunlight. I've seen some pages where they've just almost disappeared, all the line work. But yeah, this is still fairly complete.
Oh no, from that perspective, it's complete. It's just starting. Yeah, at first it goes from total black to like a purplish, and then it turns a little brown, and then that's when you'll start to see it fade. But this one's a nice shape.
All right, I think we got 2 more pieces here.
Yeah,
got a Milgram Mooney Spectacular Spider-Man 85 page. Let's go.
Yeah, the reason I like Al. So again, this is a great page. This is when the Hobgoblin, what's his 5th appearance or something, but this is where he decides he's going to try and become even more powerful. So he tries to change the formulation that was originally created by the first Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, and he creates a gas, and he exposes himself to the formula. And although he spends too much time doing it, and he gets the explosion and everything else, he does emerge more powerful than ever. But I mean, to me, this is an homage to the retelling, or the first telling, of the Green Goblin's origin. You look at those top panels. I mean, doesn't that look like the Romita?
It does.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've told the story. I once went into in the mid 70s into Marvel, and I went after Jim Shooter took over, and he was telling me how great Marvel was doing at that point and everything else. And I said to him, but you guys haven't come up with anything new. He said, what do you mean? And I said, you haven't come up with a new villain in years. So he says, hold on. And he calls Archie Goodwin into the office, and he said, Archie, tell Joe what the major villains we've come up with over the last 10 years. And Archie, the only one I could think of is the Hobgoblin. I said, that's a new villain.
That's funny.
They did bring him back, and he was popular. And I think we have one. Maybe I didn't add it.
We do. We have one more. Yep.
Okay, and then
I just thought, because of what you were saying, it was easier to just.
Sure. I appreciate
I'm being a producer here.
So we have, and then also, I did want to say that we have a couple of pages that I didn't include that I noticed later. Splash page from people love Justice League of America, Legion of Superheroes, Keith Giffen.
Oh yeah,
and we've got a couple of really nice pages of Splash that's just beautiful. If you want to bring it up, sadly Keith's not with us any longer, but from that great run. But before we do that, here's another one, Justice League #1 page. I mean, look at this again. See the torso. See the pose. Not quite thrusting out as much as Batman, but boy, that would be a great page to go along with it. But this is the new Superman from the new 52, the revamped DC's universe from the Flashpoint storyline, where DC decided to go in a whole new direction, reintroduce everything, relaunch the Justice League. And this is the first image of the new Man of Steel, the new Superman.
Yeah, it's stunning. So from Justice League 1, yeah, this is great. I'm curious on the Giffins. Let's see here. I can hop over and do a search.
Yeah, the top one.
Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, very memorable.
Yeah, Paul Levitz.
Yeah, I mean, it was this was one of the few DC runs that I ever read. Was it was because of Giffen's art.
Yeah.
Reading Legion, and it's like Perez got me when he was doing Crisis, and when Byrne kind of went over to DC, I read Superman and the Action Comics only because of the artist. And I didn't even know Giffen's work really at the time until I saw his work in Legion.
Yeah,
and, his style, his storytelling through his imagery was just fantastic. And I mean, Malsad was great. This is Bruce Patterson inks on him here, but yeah, I mean,
Malsad was a great inker. I got to know Larry, and I bought all of his pages.
Oh yeah.
Well, for years I sold a lot of Legion pages. I bought some of Giffen's, but Keith wasn't parting with them at that point. They were tough to get, but that's why Larry parted with his, and those were the ones that came to market originally. And what year was this? This is 81,
82.
82. Because I think I told you I had a comic book store in 81, 82, 83. So during that period of time that these were coming out, that's what got me. I knew how hot they were, and at the time, those were between that and the X-Men. That was the two best things going on.
Well, team books always, back then were very popular.
Hey, listen, I always said now listen, I'm a Marvel guy like you, but in reality, what were the best DC titles? Were the titles that really were similar to the Marvel titles, Legion of Superheroes, maybe Metal Men, things that had more of a backstory to them, more of a group angst, the whole bit.
Like when Perez and Wolfman were doing Titans, right? I bought those too. I mean, only because it's initially because of Perez's art, but the stories were fantastic too.
Yeah, and they were the secondary characters, but the stories were more engaging.
Dino knows. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just better stories. They're not fighting a pink elephant or whatever was going on so often in the 70s and whatnot, which were the things that turned me off from DC. So those early 80s books that came out were just so revolutionary, and
I agree.
And the artists working on them is what really made it work for me.
Yeah.
So this is so I'll be watching the how things go tomorrow now that we've got some numbers on things. I'll be curious to see, especially I love that Cochran page from 102. I think that's going to be an interesting one to see. I just, his art prices kind of lag behind Burns from that same run, but that's just such a strong page there that I can't wait to see where that goes.
Yeah, I agree with you. Last, I think. They're drying up. We're not seeing a lot of interior X-Men pages come out. People are the ones that people that have them are keeping them, and when they do come out, I mean, what did we have? A last issue, a page one for what, 72,000 or something, even maybe more. But I mean, these are just, I mean, they're not exemplary, not splash pages. So interior regular pages going for $50,000 or $100,000, just amazing.
I owned like 5 or 6 Byrne X-Men pages early in my time, and bought them for around $2,500 and sold them for $5,000, and felt pretty good about myself. So, what are you gonna do? It's you can't regret stuff like that. But Joe, as always, this is a lot of fun. I'm glad you're not jet lagged at all. You're able to jump in here, and I definitely think this room was a good spot as far as the audio goes, and it gives you a different rustic kind of quality, that I think works really well for you. And that vest too, that thing's got it going too.
This is a sweater because it's a little chilly here. And, the house was closed for a while. So Nadia said, you better put on a sweater. She was right.
Yeah.
But again, that's an old man deal. So what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be watching everything over this weekend, see how it goes. I haven't really talked with my usual suspects, but I'm sure we'll be doing some form of.
Yeah, you didn't do a review of the international sale. I was waiting.
I forget what. I've had a pretty messy schedule of late, Joe. I hate to say it. It's been a bit debilitating on certain fronts, but I'm trying to, like I said, I've told a few people of late, I'm going to try to ease myself back to a more normal streaming schedule so I can actually feel like I'm accomplishing things versus just tripping over myself while I'm running through doing so many different shows. But we will definitely have a recap next week. I can assure you of that.
No problem. All right, guys. Thank you, Dino. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in, and I appreciate the comments as well.
All right, guys. Have enjoy the next 30 minutes. We'll be back with Dueling Dealers